Ayan, good morning, Trinesians! Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Welcome to our Trinesiano session this morning. Okay, so good morning everyone. I hope you had a great day today. It's sunny day. Napakaganda ng ating panahon and I think very timely ang ating session this morning at very exciting sa lahat. All right, so today we are so happy to facilitate this learning session under our Trinesianos program. Excited na ba kayo, Trinesians? I hope you're all excited just as we are excited too this morning. Today, we'll have a session on urban gardening, its basics and strategies. Wow, and it's greening the environment. Okay, so before we start, of course, we're very happy to start this morning with a grateful heart. And because our topic is about environment, let's all have our prayer for the creation of our environment. So I invite everyone to bow down their heads and feel the holy presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. O Lord, seize us with your power and light. Help us to protect all life, to prepare for a better future, for the coming of your kingdom of justice, peace, love, and beauty. Praise be to you, Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. Okay, may I invite everyone to please stand for the national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyat ka ng magigiw, sa manlulupi, kita masisingil, sa lalat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo babaw, ay nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang pinamahal. Ang isang ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na nagiging, ang bituin at araw niya kailan magpalik magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng kahit pagsik na, mayayangin sa likod. Aming ligaya naman may mamagin, ang lahat ay nagdahil sa'yo.
Okay, please remain standing for our Trinity hymn.
Hail, beloved Trinity, may all thy colors wave high. You're the pride we hold so dear, to thee we pledge our loyalty. Beloved Alma Mater, come behold his glory clear. May our lives and love shine there. Trinity's noble name. Hail, beloved Trinity, may all thy colors wave high. You're the pride we hold so dear, to thee we pledge our loyalty. Beloved Alma Mater, come behold his glory clear. May our lives and ours shine there. Trinity's noble name.
Okay. So, all right. Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Trineshan. You may now have take your seats. Maraming salamat. Um, as mentioned a while ago, sobrang exciting ng session natin this morning. And of course, we're very happy to have this session shared with you. I congratulations, I'm back. Apologies for that. We encountered some technical difficulty. Napaka-unpredictable talaga ng ating connections. Kasing unpredictable ng panahon. Di ba? Kanina sobrang iliwanag ng langit. Ngayon, it's getting gloomy at this time here in the university. Ayan. So, as mentioned a while ago, this Trination session is actually an opportunity for all of us, not only for you students, but also our Trination community to learn something that is very important in our journey of learning and at the same time, studying. Kasi hindi lang naman tayo puro academics in a sense. We also need to somehow go out and learn something new. And this is really an interesting topic because you will really learn something new about this that I hope magagamit ninyo and you'll utilize this learning opportunity even you are studying and all of us are doing something in our work. Our session this morning is actually very important because it's part of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And of course, as we learn about the environment, it's also important for us to know how can this be done in our own backyards, diba? Sa sarili-sarili nating hardin at garden. Kaya naman, this morning, we have invited a very special guest later to be introduced to you by Miss Angel, our very own expert faculty from the College of Art Sciences and Education to provide us with some basics and strategies. And I hope you will listen and apply this eventually in your respective homes, backyards, and if there's an opportunity, of course, to cultivate and share this also, this learning to each and everyone. With that, I welcome you all to our Trination Know session, facilitated by the Trination Center for Community Development and of course headed by the Student Affairs Center, all on this 1 week 2 weeks rather, learning session of all topics. And I hope pag-attend nyo dito, attend din kayo sa mga susunod na sessions pa natin because there are very exciting topics that will be discussed in the next coming days, starting with this very interesting topic that we'll discuss this morning. Maraming salamat, Trinitians, and enjoy watching and learning this morning. Now, I'll be turning the cloud to Ma'am Angelica Aquino to introduce our resource person this morning. Ma'am Angel?
Ayun. Thank you, Miss Caroline Balmes, Director of the TCCD. It is with great honor to introduce our resource speaker for today's session. Dr. Anacleto Argayosa is the head of the Biology Department since the first semester of 2018 at the Trinity University of Asia. In this university, he has taught cell biology, microbiology, genetics, human anatomy, and physiology, among others. He took his undergraduate degree of BS Biology at the University of Santo Tomas in 1989 and proceeded to obtain his master's degree and PhD degree in biology at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. He was a visiting scholar at the Johns Hopkins University in 2003. Dr. Argayosa has a patent for his oral vaccine invention in 2017 and has published papers in international and national refereed journals such as the Frontiers in Microbiology, Aquaculture and Fish, and Shellfish Immunity, and Philippine Journal of Science, among others. He has also presented his scientific works locally and internationally. He was a reviewer for journals such as Aquaculture, Aquaculture Research, Asia Life Science, Fish and Shellfish Immunology, and Philippine Science Letters. Early in his career, Dr. Argayosa worked as University Research Associate at the Natural Science Research Institute, an instructor, and eventually Assistant Professor at the Institute of Biology, UP Diliman. He also taught at his alma mater UST for 2 semesters and served as scientific officer for 6 months at the Makati Medical Center Cellular Therapeutics Center in 2017. His research interests include lectins, immunology, patriomics, and extremophiles. He is a member of various scientific organizations, namely Philippine Society for Cell Biology, Philippine Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, and Philippine Society for Microbiology. On the weekends and holidays, he tends his garden and enjoys catching fish in his tiny backyard tilapia pond. Now, without further ado, let us give a virtual applause to our resource speaker for today, Dr. Anacleto Argayosa. Magandang umaga po, Dr.
Thank you, Ma'am Angel. Yes, thank you so much. Mukhang life history ko na yun. Thank you, Ma'am Carol, for excuse me, for inviting me here this morning. It's really been a pleasure, to share my experiences on urban gardening, And so I hope that our audience here will be excited, to apply this kind of experience that I will share later, and harvest, right? Some of your produce and share it to us, in our kitchen at TUA, if ever. So let me start by just sharing my screen with you. And so let's without further ado, let's start. So I entitled this Urban Gardening 2.0, and you're looking at a typical. This is not in the Philippines. I borrowed this from the internet. From the site here, rooftop gardens. So it's becoming popular. I will share one bit, I think, in one of the slides here later, similar to this, but on a lower scale. So this is now the not so-called, practice, but seemingly getting there, in terms of greening the cities. So let me just give you an outline of my presentation. I'm going to talk about this French-style vegetable garden called potager, right? And I'm going to share some European, because the Europeans are very much into their gardening as well. So I want to get some kind of background from that. So the German-style Hugel culture, and these even the African keyhole gardens. I think you might be interested to hear that, as well as aquaponics. Even in your backyard garden, you can really raise fish, at the same time garden from the the filtered water from these tanks of your fish ponds or aquaponics culture. So let me just share you. This is a really formal garden, but it's actually a vegetable garden, So you're looking at a French style potager, right? And it has been very much popular in Europe, and has becoming more popular also in the Americas. And so with that, some Vietnamese kind of vegetable garden are shown here on the left. So they even use the rooftops. And then this one is also a vegetable garden. You can see different plots of veggies. And this lady with her baby is in the Philippines. So she's successfully grew some kind of okra here, vegetables on her plot there on the rooftop. So those are some kinds of variations of what we call vegetable garden or potager in France, So with that, there are indeed vegetables that are easily grown, meaning low maintenance, low maintenance. If you get to ride in the bus, you go to around the city, you'll find these on pots, even in the city. So you can find kamote tops, right? Vines and all that. You can find alugbate. I'm not sure if you will like that. It's commonly known as this purple spinach, right? So it easily grows even in low nutrient soil. And then of course the classic spinach. And then you have your sili or siling labuyo. It grows very well. So if you don't like the fruit, the chiliness of that, you can just get the leaves for your tinola. So they grow so easily. And then of course pandan, but you need a little bit more water there to grow. The okra, the eggplant, tomato, the gabi, and the ampalaya. So these I want to share to you successfully grown in my backyard. And so these are the examples of these plants that I have grown. So you can see this green kamote, right? Very good. The tops there. And then you have the taro, and then you have the fern. And interestingly, if you're not familiar, fern is a very much healthy. It's a healthy veggie placed in salad, no? So it's also called pako in Tagalog. So as a child, staying in vacationing in my uncle's province in Bayombong, we used to have this, and it's so good. No, now the high-end restaurants are offering this as salad, so you can grow them in your backyard, easily. So the other ones that I have here, so that's an example of spinach, and then you have the oregano. Oregano, as you know, is good for your cough if you juice it or if you concoct it, meaning boil and drink the tea-like concoction there. And then you have the variegated ones. Also, there's this vine, we call it Pereskia, or what's this, with the reddish leaf there. So it's also very much edible, and it can also guard your fence, if you want to have the spiny veggie there. So with that, these are the examples of the harvest of the produce. So yeah, I'm so happy and proud to share this to you. So especially this rainy season, we get a lot of these greens, from our backyard. So the pandan is always it adds flavor to our rice. If you're not familiar, you can just get a leaf and then put that in your rice while you boil it. And it's going to give you a good aroma and even some minerals there in your rice, So those are some of the harvested veggies that I have from my backyard, right? And so these are some of the examples that I cook. Okay, so let's go into what's this hugel culture, So hugel culture, so meaning hill or mound culture. It's a widespread permaculture movement, and it's an advocated technique by this movement. And so what it is just a raised plant bed. So especially in this time, some strong winds might knock off your trees or whatever, so you can cut them off and then put them on a mound like that, and cover that with soil. And then when it's ready, you can plant your veggies there. So that's hugel culture. Another example is this. So this one is a little bit taller, So you can see those are examples of cut sections of the logs. So they can hold moisture. They can also build fertility. They can you can also increase your surface volume as you raise it, and also a better source of compost inside that culture. All right. So why is it important? So there's a gradual decay. It can last for 20 years. So you don't have to use chemicals or fertilizers for your bed. And there's good soil erosion, and then it also can trap in some of this rainwater that comes in during this rainy season. And it can also, of course, as plants, they can also sequester carbon, right? And they can also sequester carbon into the soil. So that's hugel culture. And so with that, as I said, it's just a mound, and so you can put various materials in that mound. So it can be cardboard, can be manure, it can be compost, and so on and so forth. So that's hugel culture. So here's an example of how you can build that. So you can cut those in this place where we live, in the UP Diliman area. We normally have cuttings like this of smaller logs. So you can easily use that and make your own hugel culture. I love that because, as I said, it's a slow decay process, and so you can use that for many years. My hugel culture is still fresh there in the backyard. So these are the steps. So you can just dig a base, you pile those woods, you cover that with plant cuttings and cover with soil, and then you can plant. So it takes a little bit of your time and resources to produce this, but it pays lots of dividends in the end. So these are examples of how it's done. So you can see the preparation there of this bed. Okay, so And these are the actual hugelkultur beds shown here. No, and I think it's not so popular yet in the Philippines, but I hope that in this urban gardening techniques, no, people will appreciate this kind of hugelkultur strategy to grow veggies. All right, so that's another form of hugelkultur. If you're if you're in the border of Metro Manila and you're near Bulacan area, and you can get this haze, okay, then you can use that as well. No? So very, very good source of material for your garden. So here you can put some kinds of pallets as trellis here if you want to climb your hugelkultur there. So you can also plant some squash or pumpkins there for your hugelkultur. Yeah. So another way, all right, to garden is this keyhole gardening. So this has been introduced by the Europeans in Africa as well, and so you can see they use brick material, right, as a border of this keyhole because you can see there is like it's shaped like a keyhole. So there is a central area where you put this materials that will decompose later on, and then the surrounding area here is a raised bed, okay, where you can easily access them from easily reach out to them from the sides or from the inside here as you put the material. So it's a keyhole gardening technique, okay. So the next one is just examples and characteristics of these keyhole garden. So it's a 3-meter diameter. It's a low cost maintenance. It's quite versatile option because you can plant various varieties of plants there, and it can improve the lives of people by having a steady supply of veggies all year round for free, if you may. So a simple concept for homes and even in urban gardens, and can provide, as I said, a year-round supply of your greens or vegetables. So here are actual examples. No, you can make it really artsy. If you have access to various colored rocks and stones there, and of course, if you want, colored greens there, colored veggies there, you can put that. So, or you can just use these kinds of materials there that you can weave, to form your barrier in the keyhole. So many ideas for this, and you can be as creative as you like. So how to make a keyhole garden? So you just have to gather the materials like stones, bricks, soil, sticks, and all that, and then you make 2 concentric circles. And you build that opening or central basket. Me, I literally use my pick and made a hole there inside, right, so that it won't spill on the surface, of the ground. So if I water it, would just go straight to that hole. And then you can fill that with the soil and make and cover that with the roof if you like, or you don't have to if there's no covering. So. So here's another way to look at that. So here's how the materials or the nutrients of the keyhole garden spreads in the surrounding soil. So it would evenly fertilize, right, the soil there. And so that your plants will be so happy and will bear fruit with this system, okay? So I assure you, because I had experience with this already. So I was able to harvest lots of greens, including even the spinach, alugbati, and chili, all right, or siling labuyo. And also recently I tried to plant grape there, and so I'm waiting for it to respond. The grapes want really sunny area, but my keyhole garden is in a shaded place, so I have to transplant it a bit. Okay. So here are examples of these keyhole gardens. So you can use a GI sheet there and cut them around instead of bricks if you like. And so here's my old already owned hugelkultur. So you can see the oreganos there, and then it has some kinds of composted material there already. So that's my Hugel and keyhole garden at the same time, because I kind of mixed these technologies together. All right, so don't forget that if you plant, there will always be pests, right? So in my case, I don't want to use pesticides. And so somehow these pests are not as, are not as problematic, compared to the other pests where they literally wipe your vegetable garden. So this one, I can still tolerate their presence, no? And so some organic, some safe, non-toxic materials can be used for this, no? So, but I don't literally use them at all, okay? So if the space is limited, you don't have a space for your Hugel culture or your keyhole garden, you can put them on your bonsai pots, no? So this one, I found this at SM North. They had a gallery where they display these oranges on, which I was inspired to do. So I bought a lemon seedling. So it's a grafted one. So I hope this will really grow as well in a bonsai pot, or even bigger. It doesn't have to be a bonsai pot. If you want to be decorative, you can do that. All right. So now on the third topic, which is aquaponics. So here's the principle of aquaponics. If you're interested to do this, no. So this one, you have your aquaculture system, which is your tank, fish tank. And then the manure of this fish will be siphoned, right? And filtered in this gravel here, or material where these plants can grow as well. So the nitrogen source from the urea, okay, excrements, and carbon source can be trapped in this bed, all right? And so if you worry about, let's say, mosquitoes, this fish can easily eat the mosquito larvae. So you can be safe from dengue, no? So because it circulates. And so this has been common design already. There are indeed studies and publications on this if you want to really dig into aquaponics systems. So this is the Philippines. So I found this posted by some Filipinos as well. So you can have your containers cut, and so your plant bed is on top, and then your tilapia, if you want to use tilapia as your fish there, so they grow well in this system. So tilapia is like your pigeon. They can easily multiply. So that's your aquaponics. And so I want to share to you my actual aquaponics. So instead of a container, I use this concrete half dome, all right, where I planted kangkong. So this kangkong grows really well. So I changed this already into taro. So it's a substitute for this kangkong. So, but even so, I enjoyed harvesting this kangkong from my aquaponics culture. All right, so here they are, so very much thriving. And then as you can see, so I want to click, let me see, I want to click the actual, false. So it's filtered, and so you can see there, it circulates naturally. And so the fish that I have raised here and bred, this one has no aerator system at all. So I'm saving energy from the aerator. It's just the filter system that I included. And so here would be the harvest, not this big tilapia. It's just a kind of what's this image that we use there. So, but here you have your tilapia from the aquaponics, and then kangkong from the aquaponics. So there, in these times where the supply chain has been affected by the pandemic, if you have that in your backyard, you may have some more peace, that you will not go hungry, right? In case the food runs out in your regular, supply, right? So with that, if you don't want veggies and you want the blooms, you can also grow some ornamental. So here are some of these ornamental plants, and some of these plants like this uh, tiger plant, they call this, no? So they can actually absorb toxins, no? And so some are just foliage, and so this one is a flower of passion fruit, so passiflora, and then you can see some of these ornamental stuff that I have. So you have your violets and some creeping plants there, colorful ones. And here you have your blue iris. I have a blue iris in my backyard. So when they bloom, it's just a pleasure, right? To go out there and enjoy the blooms in the backyard. So it's really rewarding, when these veggies and when these ornaments begin to bloom and accessible in your house, right? Or in your garden. So here are some of the flowers from the garden. Yeah. So I don't sell them. I just give them away to some friends who visit. So if you get to be around the area, let me know so you can visit. So this one is the garden where I bought the plants and placed them at the backyard. These are placed in Antipolo. It has limited space, so I have them in pots like that. And so some of them are topiary, so you can see the spiral ones. I even have a dog and sheep topiary on the other side. And so this one, my neighbor would kind of buy from me sometimes. And so, yes, why not? Diba? So I share them also. So and sometimes my neighbor would come with their toddlers and enjoy the garden. So, and then I actually have, this is quite old. I have a brick oven, a pizza oven, brick wood-fired oven here constructed already at this site. So we cook pizza and other, meat there as well. So there, that's my wife, Dina, yeah, enjoying the garden as well. And so it's really, really fantastic. If you have a space and if you have the time, recently, of course, with all this business, it's so hard to maintain the garden, but you have your holidays and weekends and sometimes after office, so you can enjoy your garden. And it's a good for the heart. It's a good exercise also for the heart. And so with all that, I think that's it. So thank you so much for your time listening to my experiences in urban gardening, and I hope you join the movement, right? In greening our environment, in greening the urban place, and becoming more sustainable, and producing your own veggies. So thank you so much. Thank
Yun.
you.
Thank you so much, Sir Lito. Thank you for sharing your beautiful garden. Ang ganda ng garden mo, sir.
Thank you.
Opo, hindi lang, I think, it's very relaxing, to stay in your
that's
place.
also true.
Oo, kasi ang ganda niya sa mata, and it's so clean, neat, and orderly. Napakaganda ng garden ni sir. We hope to have the opportunity to visit your place maybe, sir, soon.
Yeah.
Ang ganda
Let's
po
arrange
ng
that.
garden. Opo.
Oo.
Thank you so much, Sir Lito. That's
Oo.
very informative. Napakaganda po ng sharing ninyo doon sa Hegel Couture, and at the same time, yung mga keyholes na alam niyo po, bihira yung gumagawa, pero napakaganda niya pag sinimulan. And at the same time, yung ating hydroponics. So sobrang interesting po nito. Actually, just to share with you, Sir Lito, with the previous session that we had last time in our urban gardening, may nag-adapt ng ating isang community on hydroponics doon sa kanilang area. Sinubukan nila. Medyo challenge lang, Sir Lito, on the side nung keyholes sa kanila, kasi medyo, alam mo na po, kapag urban, yun ang struggle natin, hindi ba? Pero good to know that there are a lot of strategies that we can employ in doing this urban gardening, and napakaganda. Also, as you mentioned, sir, di ba, nakakatuwa kasi we learned that hindi lang siya basta it's not just a hobby, it's not just about parang talking also on the sustaining the environment. But at the same time, natuwa ako kasi your neighbors are also buying your produce.
So
Di
true.
ba po?
Yung relatives.
Napaka-exciting. Opo, napaka-exciting. And I love the sunflower at the middle of the garden, sir. Napakaganda ng sunflower
Yeah.
doon sa gitna ng garden.
Yeah,
Ayan,
that's
maraming
it.
salamat, Sir Lito.
Yeah,
Apo.
if they have any questions, feel free to send them or email me. Yeah, so you can send
Opo.
them your email.
Yes, sir. Please do share your where can we contact you, sir, if in case they wanted to know more about Hegel Couture and also yung ating key host. And if they wanted to visit your place, why not? 'Di ba po?
Yeah,
So
I put my email address in the chat box.
Yes, opo,
Yeah, and then they
opo.
can also, I think, visit the TUA website, the bio department, and I think my
Yes.
email is there, so they can access it.
Opo,
So-
very ka naman, sir eh. Madaling lapitan, madaling mahanap. And you are also available sa LinkedIn. I saw your profile there, sir. Sa
Oh, thank
LinkedIn
you.
natin.
Yeah.
Opo. So please do share this talk. Napakaganda. At paki-contact po. You can email Dr. Argayosa if you also wanted to invite him. Di ba, sir? Open naman po kayo, sir, no? If our audience, maybe some faculty or some members of the community wanted to invite you for a talk, you are available. So,
Yeah.
magle-letter
arrange
lang
that.
tayo, mag-i-email. It's amargayosa@tua.edu.ph.
Yeah.
Marami tayong matututunan kay sir with his vast experiences and syempre yung kanya talagang kaalaman, yung passion ni sir on this topic. Maraming salamat, Sir Lito. We've
Yeah, my
learned so
pleasure.
much from your session this morning.
Oh, my
And looking
pleasure.
forward for another opportunity na ma-invite po ulit namin kayo. So
Thank
sir,
you.
meron
Thank
lang
you.
akong phone-in question
Sure.
na tanong. Ano daw po ang solusyon sa, di ba po, usual na mention ninyo kanina, di ba? Kapag nagtatanim, sir, of course, there are some pests. So
Mhm.
what do you do daw, sir, to somehow treat the plants kapag may mga pests?
All right. As I said, I'm quite cautious using pesticides now because it can be toxic to us, and so one of the ways is to just trim out those infested parts, right? And then just put them in trash and then dispose of them. Yeah, that's one. So if you physically remove the pests, right? And so the others are you just try to use plants that are less susceptible to pests. So that's why I listed those plants early on, which I think the pests don't like. And so I've shown you, the spinach is one of their favorites. So you know the regular green spinach.
Masarap
So,
kasi sir ang spinach, no?
Oo
Kaya
nga.
favorite
So
din
even
nila.
yeah, but the alugbati, the ampalaya, the okra, they are not so favorite of pests. So I'm actually having a problem here, from where we lived in Novaliches before. We just, stick that malunggay branch and it would just sprout. But here in Diliman, apparently, there's just this problem with some kinds of insects that I can't seem to grow malunggay, the easiest supposedly, shrub to grow. But in this place, I can't. I just couldn't. So I just gave up.
I agree, sir. Malunggay is the easiest shrub to grow. Kasi we also have that in our garden sa bahay. Pero yun nga po, I also wonder, there are times na in the area na mahirap siyang mag-grow. And maybe that's the answer nga po, no? Yung presence
Yeah.
of some pests na umaatake sa kanya. So marunong din po, I just realized, marunong din po mamili yung mga pests, no, na masasarap
True.
talaga. Thank you, Sir Lito. Another phone-in question, sir. Kasi po, di ba, usually when there are plants, ang sabi po nila talagang medyo, also, may mga lamok, no? May mga lamok din na nag-grow within.
Yeah.
Paano daw po yun ma-address? So as to avoid, of course, this season is dengue season. Paano daw po kaya iyon?
Okay, there
Na
are
hindi
some.
naman daw, sir, namamatay yung mga halaman. Kasi may experience po na nag-share na,
Uh,
namatayan siya ng halaman just to, of course, syempre, mawala
Gumamit
yung
ng
mga
spray.
lamok. Opo. Gumamit ng spray.
Okay, citronella is one if you want to use that for the lamok. If you're gardening, no, because you're not in the garden the whole time anyway, right? So the mosquitoes normally they swarm in the morning or around sunset time. So if you're still out there, you can use that. You can light up one lamp with the citronella oil, so they don't like that. Or if you just want more or less a biocontrol, you can plant some um, marigold. So apparently, the mosquitoes don't like the smell of that. Or sometimes I don't know this, but they said the neem tree from India that grows well in the Philippines can also be anti-mosquito or mosquito repellent in your garden. So that, but you can't get rid of mosquitoes. This is a tropical country, so I would suggest that when you go out there, you can use mosquito repellent, or you can use clothing that will protect you from mosquito bites. No, so those are the things that I suggest. You can do to protect yourself from mosquito bites. But anyway, those that cause dengue are those that thrive in your stagnant containers, no? So, or if you have tires there that are kind of getting filled with water that you didn't know, so they could be a habitat for this dengue carrying mosquito. All right, so you don't want that, so you want to clear that. But those that thrive there in just usual like vegetable gardens, they're not. I think they're not as problematic as those that grow well. That those mosquitoes that thrive on your clean, more or less stagnant water. So, and of course, when you garden, it gets disturbed. So the water doesn't really sit there so much on the leaf. So it's more of your, as I said, it's more on those containers where they can thrive, not on the leaves per se, right? Yeah.
Okay, sir. No?
Mm.
Maganda po yun, no? That's a very good point that
Yeah.
it's usually not in the really in the gardens yung talagang mga stagnant water. So let's
Yes.
avoid talaga din po na magkaroon ng stagnant water yung garden
Yes.
natin.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's a very good point. Kasi that's unnoticeable, sir, no? So hindi natin napapansin
Mm-mm.
that
Mm-mm.
at times we left our garden tools and some pots na
Right.
nandoon sa garden na
Yeah.
hindi natin namamalayan. It became the spot of the larvae to grow
Right.
and
Right.
become mosquito eventually. Thank you, sir,
And if
for
I may add,
opo.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
if you have plants that are really storing like leaves, so the bromeliads, this giant bromeliads, if you notice, this like pineapple looking plant, with broad leaves, and so they can trap water in the base area. And so if your place is really very wet, right, and you have those in your garden, they look so nice. Actually, we actually planted one in Tua. We had two here, and so those have been problematic in South America, where these mosquitoes thrive well in, because these are actually plants that thrive in forests. But when you plant them in the city like this, they become habitats of these insects like mosquitoes. So if you can substitute with better plants that don't store water in their foliage, that would be a better protection against mosquitoes. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah.
Okay, maraming salamat, Sir Lito. Thank you so
Yeah,
much po.
thank you.
Hindi kami nahihirapan every time we invite you. We are so happy that you are able to share your time despite your I know this is a very hectic schedule with all the preparations for the upcoming
Yes,
classes
yes,
next
yes,
week. And
yes.
we thank you so much, sir, for giving us the time and of course yung inyong panahon and experiensya, expertise in sharing the topic this morning to all of our audiences, our students, faculty, staff, our partner
Yeah.
communities, and guests watching us live now in
Yeah.
YouTube and Facebook. So,
Yeah.
sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, so with all that, let me just encourage everyone. No? The Philippines is endowed with fertile soil. We know that. Yet apparently, very few are into farming, di ba? Because the attraction to the city and the easier way to, because gardening and farming is not easy, di ba? But it's rewarding, right? It's rewarding, especially if it's your land and you're in the Philippines and you help, the countryside. And so I think we need to get into this movement to really make our land more fertile and more productive, di ba? Instead of importing all this food, no? Especially the plants. So I just want to go for that, and like avocado, avocado really thrives very well in the Philippines, no? And it sucks a lot of water. And so it has become an issue in South America where there's little water, but in the Philippines it's all year round, there's source of water, and we can compete with the European market, in terms of that, no. So that's one, and we just passed by the Benguet area on our trip from Sagada and was enjoying the terraces, no, of the gardens of the Benguet people there, from the blooms to the pechay and the lettuce and the strawberries. And I think if you have time and resources, just be inspired and just go there and just enjoy, because the farm that you see is the Bukid area, the rice paddies. But if you go there, just enjoy what we have there in the north. And so I just want to encourage everybody to get their hands dirty and plant. And of course, reward yourself with a harvest. It's
Yes.
rewarding, yes. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Opo, parang I love that statement. Let's create a movement of
Yeah.
a movement that will call for all of us to make our lands fertile again
Yes.
and
Yes.
make our environment greener, more
Yes.
sustainable for the future generation.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Sir Lito, for
Thank you.
that inspiration also. Sir, may
Oh,
we,
okay.
of course, award the certificate of appreciation and personally give it to you tomorrow, maybe,
Sure, sure. No
with
problem.
the
Anytime.
signature of the signatories. Their certificate of appreciation, sir, is given to you as our resource person for sharing your time and expertise for the topic urban gardening basics and strategies. This is actually a learning session, part of the institutional activity Tradition Knows, that aims to contribute knowledge and practices towards a greener environment. To given this 17th day of August in the year of our Lord 2022 at Trinity University of Asia, signed yours truly, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Howell P. Ho, and our University President, Dr. Gisela D. A. Luna. Thank you so much, Sir
Thank
Lito, for
you. Yeah,
sharing
my
your
pleasure,
time
Ma'am
to all
Carlo.
of
Yeah.
us. I hope we can invite you again.
Sure, no problem.
Maybe, baka face-to-face na, sir, sa ating partner communities.
Sige,
Baka
mamimigay ako ng seedlings. Ganun.
Naks. Maraming salamat, sir. So as mentioned by Sir Lito, we're getting towards the end of our Tradition Knows first session this morning. And with that very inspiring message of Sir Lito, we also wanted to share this with you, that we might think we are actually nurturing our garden. But of course, it's also our garden that is really nurturing us. We
Yeah.
also do believe that it also helps us
Yeah.
again reflect and revisit our souls and go back to the nature para
Yeah.
mas mapayaman natin ang ating kaluluwa at mas
Yes.
maramdaman natin yung connection natin sa ating
Yes.
paligid in our natural environment.
Yes.
And of course, well, maybe not all of us are gardeners, but all gardeners, I believe, but we can also be gardeners. Sabi nga ni Sir, let's get our hands dirty. All gardeners live in the beautiful places because they make them so. So
Yeah.
let's all make a beautiful garden, a beautiful environment for our earth to thrive and sustained for our future generation. With that, maraming salamat,
Thank you.
Trinicians. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing
great
your
day.
time with us this morning. Thank you, Sir Lito.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. God bless you, sir, and see you tomorrow.
Sure,
See
see
you,
you.
Trinicians, in the
Bye-bye.
next Trinician No session. Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless you all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.